All right, so President Trump just announced a new DNI candidate, and this is big news. So a lot of people are just reporting on it, giving high-level stuff, but I want to quickly dive into some commentary, what people are saying, and especially as it relates to this whole deep state removal operation. So this is big. Let's get right into it. So let's look at the announcement itself. So President Trump tweeted this or truthed this on Truth Social. He said, "I'm appointing the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, the chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, William J. Pult, to serve as acting director of national intelligence. William has deep experience managing the most sensitive matters in America, the safety and soundness of the markets, and over $10 trillion at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, a substantial increase from where it was just 12 months ago. During this period, he will remain the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency and the chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Congratulations to Director Pult." Now, right off the bat, even as I read that, I thought, okay, 17 intelligence agencies. Does he have experience in that? Can he handle it? And of course, the Democrats and anybody against Trump is trying to force out Bill Pute as President Trump's new DNI pick. But a lot of people are doing everything they can to try to get him not confirmed. And remember, this is the director of national intelligence, meaning that he oversees all of the big three-letter agencies and other forms of national intelligence gathering. This comes where Tulsi Gabbard did a great job trying to do a lot of what she did, and he's going to allow D-class, hopefully, an exposure to happen over the next month that she still is here. Now, I want to read some commentary from Joe Lange because he does a great job kind of putting some things together from this whole perspective of what Trump's strategy is. Remember, Trump knew going into this that it was not like a shoo-in. He wasn't going to have everybody clap their hands and say, oh, this guy's going to be the pick and we're going to get him confirmed. And so Joe here says, why purposely create confusion? This Trump appointment has thrown D.C. and the entire media into confusion. Now, reading directly from The Guardian, it says Donald Trump has tapped a close ally to serve as the country's top intelligence official. Days after Tulsi Gabbard announced her exit from the role, the U.S. president said that Bill Pute, head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency and heir to a home construction company fortune, will serve as acting director of national intelligence. Pult, who has no known experience in national security, has used his role at the powerful housing agency, which oversees regulations of the federal housing lenders Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, to publicly level a string of extraordinary allegations at Trump's political opponents and enemies. Pult, a businessman appointed by Trump, appointed to head the FHFA, has accused targets of Trump, including U.S. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, of committing mortgage fraud. Cook has denied wrongdoing. William has deep experience in managing the most sensitive matters in America, Trump said on his Truth Social platform. Pult will remain director of the FHFA, Trump said. And then Trump said that Pult will remain director of FHFA. That's a signal. The public narrative suggests that Pult was tapped as acting head of DNI because of his loyalty to Trump, in spite of his complete lack of experience in the intelligence community. Does anyone think that Trump didn't know ahead of time how much this appointment at this critical time would sow criticism from everybody? What would be the purpose of creating confusion? This appointment tells me a few things. Pult is in charge of Fannie and Freddie. This move tells me that Trump's plan to take Freddie and Fannie public is almost complete. And if you remember, President Trump said last year that he's going to take these companies public. Our great mortgage agencies, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, provide a vital service to our nation by helping hardworking Americans reach the American dream, home ownership. I am working on taking these amazing companies public, but I want to be clear, the U.S. government will keep its implicit guarantees, and I will stay strong in my position on overseeing them as president. These agencies are now doing very well and will help us to make America great again. And then continuing on, Joe saying, do people know that DOJ was looking into all the fraudulent mortgages by many public officials for decades? We've only heard publicly about a few of them. Pult, in my opinion, is a hatchet man and a placeholder, the Scaramucci model. Remember Anthony Scaramucci back then in, I think, 2017, after Sean Spicer, he was like for a week the press secretary, and then Trump fired him. So moving forward, and that's kind of like the laughing kind of thing when somebody comes in for a temp job and then gets removed. But I think Trump is keeping a tight rein on DNI as the 2020 election fraud evidence is about to be exposed. Tulsi is about to go nuclear with declassified information on her way out the door. Pult is willing to take the slings and arrows that will surely follow the sacrificial pawn. But I think this appointment has a bigger purpose. I think Trump has already picked Tulsi's replacement and knows that the only way that he can get him confirmed by the compromised Senate is if Congress is demanding that Pult be replaced. As a yes man for Trump, everybody will be calling for his replacement. Pult's appointment, in my opinion, is to force the Senate to move quickly to approve his permanent replacement. Who is the person that I believe Trump will nominate? Who is the person that the deep state insurgency doesn't want in that position? Devin Nunes. Everything is coming full circle. Nunes knows everything about the Obama administration conspiracy to frame and remove Trump. Did you know that he recently stepped down from leading Truth Social? Devin Nunes steps down as the head of Trump's struggling media company. And this was dated April 22nd, 2026. And this is coming from CNN, many other networks that are confirming this. But timing? Coincidence? A member of the Gang of Eight Intelligence Committee in Congress publicly exposed the illegal Obama spy operation against Trump, exposed Obama's use of Five Eyes, foreign intelligence agencies use to spy on Trump. And again, Five Eyes for Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, the UK. That was, and this is all another sort of rabbit hole you got to go down with regards to conspiracy and all that stuff. But they are using that to spy on people. Exposed Adam Schiff's lies and leaking of classified information. Art of War. Sun Tzu's The Art of War identifies confusion as a central pillar of strategic deception, asserting that the whole secret lies in confusing the enemy so they cannot fathom your real intent. Pult is playing a strategic role on the chessboard, nothing more. He's paving the way for Trump's true number one pick as we enter the prosecution phase. Buckle up. And remember, you can look at this announcement as being, oh, well, yeah, that could be in some sense a stretch, but it's not, in the sense that this has ramifications where people, if they don't get confirmed, Trump has to pick somebody else, and somebody that's more of a shoo-in in some sense, where they are begging in some way to have somebody else come in. So that could be the issue here, because this has been ongoing for other people, but you could also see it at face value in the sense that he could be qualified. And so I want to read some commentary by Observing Consciousness, where he says that Trump appointing Bill Pult as acting director of national intelligence signals a much deeper convergence already forming beneath the surface for years. Pult did not emerge from traditional intelligence circles. He emerged from the center of the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac ecosystem, where mortgages, deeds, LLC structures, lending histories, banking relationships, property transfers, and identity verification all converge into one of the largest relational maps in America. That is why Trump's push around Fannie and Freddie was never just housing reform. It was institutional reclamation. For decades, those agencies operated as financial command nodes sitting inside federal conservatorship, while Wall Street, bureaucratic layers, and entrenched influence networks quietly control the rails beneath the American dream. Then DOGE enters as the Trojan horse insertion layer. Audits, personnel resets, board restructuring, forensic visibility, systems mapping. Pult consolidates. FHFA control boards are overhauled, old guard removed, and sovereign-aligned operators embedded directly into the architecture itself. Now add the AI nervous system layer. Integrating with Fannie Mae transforms the battle completely, because modern intelligence is no longer built around intercepted communications or traditional surveillance. It is built around AI-driven relational mapping across systems of systems. Mortgages connects to banks. Banks connect to NGOs. NGOs connect to funding rails. Funding rails connect to shell companies. Migration networks, fraud structures, political influence operations, and hidden ownership webs. Investigation timelines collapse from months into seconds as AI correlates anomalies, money movement, property relationships, and institutional paper trails at massive scale. Suddenly, the Tulsi transition phase makes more sense. She functioned during the narrative exposure and restructuring layer, while the deeper operational center of gravity quietly shifted toward forensic financial intelligence, sovereign data visibility, and AI-enhanced systemic tracking. The battlefield moved from headlines to infrastructure, and the people who understand the map become more strategically valuable than the people reading the script. And so all that to say that he is intentionally being positioned here, knowing what he did, what prosecution, what he's done, and it translates over to what the next phase is going to be. For decades, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have been held hostage under federal conservatorship controlled by unelected bureaucrats, manipulated by Wall Street, and walled off from the very people they were created to serve. Home ownership became a rigged game, and the American people were left with the illusion of access. Now Trump is flipping the script. And then Brian Cates here says, here's why Trump does this consolidation tactic, where and by consolidation tactic, he means that they have overlapping roles. All of Trump's picks, or people that are working in certain areas, they all do differing things and play and put on multiple hats in some sense. And so reading again here, here's why Trump does this consolidation tactic, where he gives one person in his cabinet multiple jobs, positions. A lot of Hydra's activities around the world involve the use of what I refer to as the diplomatic jet set of transnational elites. And again, I think Hydra referring to the Marvel ecosystem and that whole syndicate of evil that happened with that superhero, world. And then Council on Foreign Relations types, WEF, UN useless diplo dunks, etc. You may have noticed Trump using Rubio for multiple jobs, while Jared Kushner does the heavy lifting in the background on things like setting up the Board of Peace, Shield of the Americas, and now the new Abraham Accords initiative in the Middle East. Trump is doing the same thing now with PULT, folding the financial side with the intelligence side. They can't stop it. The agenda moves forward. Consolidation of power in a trusted person allows you to freeze out and go around the embedded partitions in the bureaucracy that are trying to stall and stop your agenda. So again, you're looking at this in some sense from a smokescreen alternative strategy perspective. Who knows what's going to be the outcome of this actual person, if they get confirmed or not. But if they don't, then Trump is going to bring in somebody else. And then you're going to see other things unfold. Remember, the White House and President Trump recently said to those negatively chirping, quiet. It will all work out in the end. It always does. And this has gone viral, this specific video and just the comms behind it. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but just saying that this whole movie, what's being shown, what's being done, there's a strategic reason behind a lot of this, and it will work out because more than anything, God is working behind the scenes. So just want to give you guys this consolidation of different commentaries and also just some opinions. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Also, if you guys want to support me, you guys know I am listener supported, would love the continued financial support as we try to meet our goals for the month. All that information is down in the description below, givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt, and also have PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. Love you guys. More to come. Talk to you guys very soon.